I definitely enjoy me a good old Kingdom Hearts inspired video game, and we've covered quite a few here on the channel, whether it be Cross Seekers, Duskfade, or the fantastic Luminos Nights. We're starting to see people who grew up playing Kingdom Hearts as a nostalgic piece of their childhood starting to infuse some of the DNA that KH has straight into their indie game projects. And this is great because Kingdom Hearts has a lot of great ideas as an action RPG that makes it incredibly unique and stands out in the sea of action RPGs out there. Today we're going to be taking a look at what is probably the most ambitious Kingdom Hearts inspired indie project out of the bunch that I have covered, and this is known as Somber Heaven. This is an open world action RPG being developed by someone that I've known in the Kingdom Hearts community for many years now, Nikos. The project was announced a few weeks ago and launched with a Kickstarter. The pledge goal of this was $13,000 US. And only within a matter of a couple of weeks, Somber Heaven is completely funded. Now, I am going to be 100% honest about this project and my thoughts towards it. Number one, I'm very interested in this. I think the concept that Nico has laid out over on the Kickstarter page is really extensive. It goes over the lore of the game, the world, the characters, and some of the systems it'll include. And Nico has also provided me with a ton of information about it. This is something that he's wanted to pursue for a long time, and he originally came up with the idea of Somber Heaven back in 2021. This game takes place in the vast open world known as Sonara, which Nico's already got some really nice hand-drawn, clearly Lord of the Rings inspired maps designed for the world of this game. They look simply fantastic. The world is made up of multiple continents and islands to explore: Grimark, Novalis, the Frozen Waste, Marshfell, Mother's Rest. There's already a lot that's been put into the world design of this game, and you're free to travel by foot or by boat, horse, or car. There'll be different activities and side quests to engage in as you make your way through this world. You'll even come across homesteads, which apparently you can even decorate. The vibe that I'm getting from this game from the information and trailer is definitely Final Fantasy 15. Now, the key inspirations for this project are, for one, obviously Kingdom Hearts, but also Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy. The combat system of the game seems to take some ideas from the mechanics of Kingdom Hearts. The world and the theme seems to take ideas from Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings. Nico has explained to me that a lot of the lore and also journeying and exploration aspect of this game is directly inspired from specifically Lord of the Rings. He really likes the idea of a band of characters journeying across the world with a certain goal in mind, and that is one of the driving forces of Somber Heaven. The theme, though, is definitely Final Fantasy. I mean, even looking at the character designs, they definitely come across as Square Enix designed characters. From what we're seeing here in the trailer, though, this game's world is very much reality meets fantasy, so for any fans of, again, Final Fantasy 15 or Versus 13, you'll probably latch on to this approach of world design, something that Tetsuya Nomura is known for. The game's main character is Ardland, and he's joined by Kaleem, Sarah, and Lillian. Nico's got some really cool write-ups to give a bit of backstory towards each of these characters over on the Kickstarter. There's clearly been a lot of thought that's been put in to the story aspect of this game to do with both its world and its characters. Now, I've been informed about some information towards the narrative of the game that isn't actually public, so without giving away too much information, Ardland was sent to a location known as the Final Station, basically just the final world from Kingdom Hearts. He's given a contract by a creature, and in return means he'll be sent back to reality with a weapon known as Heaven's Prototype. Now, the main threat of this world are known as leaks, and the Heaven's Prototype is a weapon that can be used to extinguish these creatures. Basically think Keyblade and Heartless. These are apparently physical manifestations of negativity born from both humans and elves. Sort of a little bit reminiscent of the Unversed from Kingdom Hearts. This world also contains other creatures though, like wyverns, goblins, trolls, or other fantasy-related monsters, but the leaks are the true threat. Now, the weapon system of this game is very Kingdom Hearts. It seems like anything related to the combat side of Somber Heaven is Kingdom Hearts inspired. The Heaven's Prototype has a system known as Heaven's Heart. These are core pieces that you'll find throughout the game and are used to change the appearance appearance and the stats, along with even the abilities of the weapon, much like keychains from Kingdom Hearts. And as you master these pieces, the abilities that come with those specific Heaven's Hearts can be used across any other heart. So think of it this way: in Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3, Keyblades have unique ability. It would be like being able to take some of the abilities from one Keyblade and put them on another, so long as that Keyblade is completely maxed out. It's kind of like the weapon proficiency system in Final Fantasy VII, how you can use that weapon's ability with any other weapon once you've maxed out the proficiency. I really like this idea and would actually like to see it in a future Kingdom Hearts game to give the player more freedom and customization over what abilities are attached to their Keyblade. Now, all of this sounds really cool, and again, if you want any more extended information about this, the Kickstarter is great. It's a super in-depth, super extensive write-up of what Nikos is wanting to create. The foundation is really fantastic, but here's where my concern comes in. Clearly, this game is aiming for quite a lot of systems, and also it is an open world action RPG. This game is being solo developed by Nikos and Nikos alone. Aside from 2D assets in regards to character design, Nikos is literally taking on this entire project with all of its ideas by himself. Now, I'm not saying that solo developed video games cannot be successful, because we've been proven time and time again that they absolutely can. The recent Balatro, Stardew Valley, or Undertale are all prime examples of incredibly successful solo developed indie titles. But there is a difference between those games and something like this. You don't tend to see very large, expansive, open world titles that are developed by one person. Generally, these titles are small, contained, linear experiences. For open world games, there's a lot of logistics that go into them, and the primary one is ensuring that this large world you're creating contains enough interesting content to keep the player engaged. To leave all of that up to one person and one person only is a really big undertaking. Now, I've expressed these exact concerns to Nikos, and he has assured me that with the expertise he has with Unreal Engine, using it for the past decade, he's able to fill the roles of literally an entire development team. So story, character, dialogue, asset creation, programming, modeling, rigging, animation, and cutscene work, all of these is within his field of expertise. Even looking at sound and music production, there's already an OST of Somber Heaven that's over on SoundCloud right now, and honestly, it's actually really good. This is being co-developed with a friend of his, but the music here is already off to a really great start. Things that he'll be outsourcing will be 2D assets. He did specifically mention to me that looking at the character designs right now, they are very tentative and they will likely change, along with particle effects and voice acting. And that's the other thing too, I have to say that even the voice acting that is present here in this trailer is really good. It's definitely not amateur level.
The negative energy that plagues these lands shall be expelled from existence. And you, who also seeks to destroy such things, will share the same fate.
Then where am I?
You, my friend, are standing in the realm between Somber Heaven and the known universe. The final station.
Somber Heaven. I'll look for you. I promise I'll find you, Ardlin.
So there's a lot of things that are already off to a good start, but I can't help but feel skeptical about the scope of this project, considering it's only being developed by one person. Now, he has mentioned that he's aiming for a 15 to 20 hour experience, but that doesn't include the additional things that you can do throughout the world. That's basically the main run through of the game. He is going to be looking for a publisher, and if he manages to get a publisher on board, this will be shipped as one complete thing. If not, this will be split into 3 episodes. Episode 1 acting as like the base game, and the 2 additional episodes acting as additional DLC to help progress the story forward and have more areas. He mentions that doing a setup like this without a publisher makes development a little bit easier for him. Another concern that I have about this is the budget. $13,000 was the pledge goal, and it was met. There's about 99 backers right now, and I ended up tallying up all of the different tiers. That figure only makes up about half of the pledge goal, meaning that the other half were from people putting in custom amounts, clearly very keen to see this become a reality. But we know that $13,000 is nowhere near enough in this day and age to make an open world title. And again, this was something that I expressed to Nico. He's explained to me that the money that's raised for this game is going straight into equipment that will be used to develop this title. There are stretch goals that go all the way up to 100k with various additional things that will be developed for the title as these tiers are unlocked, like brand new areas, a romance system, and more customization options. Obviously, the bulk of money spent on a game's budget goes into employing the team that are working on it, and because this title is being developed by one person, he doesn't have to worry about that. But this does mean that because it's developed by just him alone, the progress that's going to be made on this game will be quite slow. The footage here that we're seeing in the trailer is from a 2024 build of the game. It hasn't actually been in proper development for that long at all, and it will probably be quite some time before we actually see it released. Now, I'm just assuming here, but this is not his full-time occupation. He would need to raise well over $100,000 in order to be working on this full-time. To reiterate, I've covered a lot of solo developed indie titles, and all of them are a lot smaller in scope, very linear experiences compared to what we're seeing here with Somber Heaven, and still to this day, all of them are in development. This is 3 to 5 to 6 years on. This is because video games aren't easy to create, or at least ones with a certain level of quality. With all of that being said though, I really do have to admire the amount of passion that is clearly being poured into this by Nico. This is something that I definitely do want to see succeed, and as time goes by, I'll absolutely be keeping an eye on it. The core foundations of this concept are really tight. It's just a matter of bringing it all together and executing it correctly. Remember that what we're seeing here in this footage is more so proof of concept. This is incredibly early on in development, and things, if not everything, is subject to change. If you guys are interested in supporting this project, then I'll leave the Kickstarter link in the description down below. Nico also plans on doing development log videos once the campaign has wrapped up, so if you want to keep up to date with those, I'll leave his YouTube down below as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to slap that like button as it helps me out a bunch. Subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything going on here. A big thank you to my wonderful patrons. Thank you guys so much for keeping the channel alive. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll talk again real soon.